Let me tell you about a place I found not on any map, but etched into the back of an old photograph, the kind that fades around the edges, leaving only the heart of the image intact. I think it was taken in 1938. A group of men, loggers maybe, standing proudly beside a felled giant. Their faces blurred by time and shadow. Except for one. He stands slightly apart. His eyes, they seem to follow you, even in a still image. Anyway, on the back, scrawled in faded ink, were two words: Blackwood Hollow. I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to see it, to find it. It took months of research, poring over old county records, land surveys, talking to locals who remembered stories their grandparents told. Blackwood Hollow wasn't on any official register anymore, had vanished sometime after the war, swallowed by the forest it seemed. But I found whispers, rumors, tales of strange occurrences, unexplained disappearances, a sense of dread that clung to the name like morning mist. I found an old-timer, Silas, lived in a crumbling cabin on the edge of the woods. He swore it was cursed, said the land had a hunger, that it took more than just trees. He wouldn't tell me more, just shook his head and spat tobacco juice onto the dusty porch. Leave it be, son. Some places ain't meant to be found. Of course, that only made me more determined. I used the old photograph, landmarks in the background, to triangulate. Weeks of hacking through overgrown trails, battling swarms of insects. The deeper I went, the darker it got. Even in the middle of the day, the sun struggled to penetrate the canopy. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. An unnatural stillness settled over the woods. No birds sang, no squirrels chattered, only the rustling of leaves, whispering secrets I couldn't quite understand. Then I found it, the remnants of a logging camp, collapsed cabins, rusted tools scattered amongst the undergrowth, the sawmill, a skeletal frame against the sky. A sense of desolation hung in the air, heavier, more profound than anything I'd ever experienced. I felt watched. Every shadow seemed to hold a hidden gaze. I spent days exploring, documenting, taking photographs, trying to piece together what had happened. The camp looked like it had been abandoned in a hurry. Plates still on the table, clothes hanging in closets, as if everyone had simply vanished. I found a diary, belonged to one of the loggers, a man named Thomas. His entries started normally enough. Talk of quotas, the weather, complaints about the food. But then, things started to change. He wrote of strange noises at night, whispers in the wind, feelings of unease. The woods, they're watching us, he wrote. I can feel it in my bones. Something ain't right here. Then, the entries became more frantic. He described vivid nightmares, waking up screaming in the middle of the night, seeing shadows moving in the periphery. The trees, they're growing closer, he wrote. They're not just trees anymore. The last entry was just a single word, scrawled in a shaky hand. They. I found something else near the old church, a small graveyard, almost completely overgrown. The headstones were weathered and cracked, most were illegible. But one caught my eye. It was newer than the others, made of simple, unadorned stone. The inscription was barely visible, but I could make out the name, Thomas, and the date of death, the same year the camp was abandoned, 1938. That night, camped in one of the ruined cabins, I couldn't sleep. The wind howled through the gaps in the walls, sounding like whispers. I kept seeing shadows flickering in the corners of my eyes. I felt watched more intensely than ever before. Then I heard it, a faint scratching sound coming from the woods outside, like fingernails dragging across bark. It grew closer, louder, circling the cabin. I grabbed my flashlight, shone it into the darkness, but there was nothing there, only the trees. Then I saw it, etched into the wood of the cabin wall, barely visible in the dim light, was a single word: they. I packed up my gear, left Blackwood Hollow before dawn. I didn't look back. I haven't been able to shake the feeling that something followed me out, that they are still out there, waiting, watching. Some deaths don't fade, and neither, it seems, do the trees.